ready. Now actually, God, I sound like a prat. I've actually taken lots of little films, mainly for one reason, which will come out. Because, well, over a year ago, I'm thinking, is this a way to live? Yeah, this has just been fantastic. I've lived in the Carlton Hotel in Cannes. It sounds like I could have some privilege if I wanted to, but bizarrely in a kind of masochistic way. Choose to live hair shirt. No. There are two things. Firstly, I am so efficient, my little machine of thinking, and everything on there has to be dealt with. Is a reminder. That's there. You see, simple life. I know this is dull, but they have all their fancy solutions. Nope. Oh, I think I've made a film. Every 10 minutes, open the bonnet. The battery terminals are loosely put on. You only need them loosely put on, or rather you hammer one slightly into an oval shape so that it can be twisted off quickly. Every 10 minutes I just change batteries. I got a free new one. Yeah, I like basically never get anything for free ever. That was I paid more than money for that. Anyway, to the point. Yeah, the real reason is to get it to this sort of zen, perfect, small, efficient state. And it literally takes me 1 minute to move things into place at bedtime. But to get into the perfect, efficient zen state, because I want to now spend a week. I don't know to do what. No, I know what I gotta do. I don't want to do it. It's time to just do a bit of PR, but PR is a horrible word. I'm just going to make some little handwritten signs and dot them around a certain place, which are based on the conversation half an hour ago. Yeah, the most important thing of all, you see, I have a little spurt, but I just spent 20 minutes just enjoying the bird sounds. But yes, I said something to somebody, I don't even know whether she listened to it, but it literally is a dance. It is such a physical dance to efficiently reorganize everything, just to occasionally a little bit of cleaning, or rather to have your life so efficient that the cleaning is minimized. It is such a dance. Just repositioning things in the most the flow, yeah, that's where I got to, isn't it? The flow, it has to be, everything has to be positioned so the flow is dead. Well, no, efficient's a horrible word. It's like, it really is a flow from battery to there to that, to turn that on, so that I can operate, so as to get out good material. I don't care if nobody ever sees it, but all I know is that nearly 14 years ago, one of the disgusting, lying good burgers in the Hay-on-Wye region gave me a letter. It was 14 years ago. This time 14 years ago. You're safe in your tenancy in a farmhouse right up in the hills that hadn't never been modernised, was cheap because it was a wreck, but it was quite big. Gave me a letter after I think I'd been there with my daughter 6 years. Gave me a letter saying that what you've heard about possibly the property being taken back, it's not true. You're safe there until Christmas. I went away with my daughter for a week. We came back to an eviction notice. Now, I never take court cases, but I actually took that to court. And Judge looks at her, so fucking what? You know? But that is a good burger. A woman who'd really made a point of even often saying, oh, I really support your existence with your daughter and some things you've done in society. But the point of the material is this. If anybody had said to me then 14 years ago, as I'm like faced with big proper household, well, only because we had lots of animals, and when you're poor you have to have more stuff because you have to buy more second-hand clothes so that when you run out you've got a next supply and all that kind of thing. If anybody had said me 14 years ago, gradually through these kinds of crises moments, you do become so much more centered and at peace. But being organised is really part of it, but also letting go, accepting that there are going to be periods where you're not going to be able to keep entirely on top of everything. Despite in my case having the strength of an ox, I wouldn't have believed them. So I want to tell some stories of how to super simplify for that purpose. And obviously over the next 5 to 10 years, many people are going to be at that cliff edge. It wasn't really a cliff edge, but many people are going to be at that kind of place. And guess what? Except for one thing. I wouldn't have had it any other way. It's wonderful. It's wonderful being forced into actually being just so good at being on the edge. And the important thing to learn is you've got to have. I got a like from somebody on a comment I made. In fact, there you go. It's about that comment. When things go wrong, don't blame anybody else. You realise it's because if I break something, it's because I haven't thoughtfully kept my bodily flow, such that I've sat on that plug I needed for my computer or whatever. It's me. And then over time you learn to laugh. Oh, even me. Just like, no, I don't get it anymore. Probably the last time I had a little bit of personal angst at something going wrong, something was broken or whatever that I needed. It's like, I laugh now. I laugh. Laugh at yourself. Laugh. That was me. I didn't have, or rather I let whoever or life or whatever just slightly overwhelm me such that I wasn't concentrating, and it's not that thing got broken. I left it in a place such that it fell off and broke. It is, okay, everything's made such fucking plasticine. It's not entirely your fault some of the time, but that is the place to get to. And I think you can only get to that place if you've really been in a situation where every penny counts for years, and figuring how to live reasonably well on the most minimal cost ever. My cost is fuel, but I so limit moving around. I figure my moving around. I move. Sounds like I'm some weird nomad. Not at all. No, I'm probably going to go and do some PR 25 miles away. So I know the only thing I hate about myself is I do still like my occasional roll-up tobacco. The cheapest place for organic tobacco is 15 miles that way, so I'm going to route that way. Blah blah blah. Figuring every 5p saving. And once you know you've got so good at that it's automatic, then you totally relax. That's the point. It's like, you can't, obviously, there's one way that I could reduce that cost, but otherwise it's just like, it really is such a pleasure. It is mean, I honestly, even though I've had some tough times the last decade, I can honestly say I have not had one moment of that terrible word, stress. I mean, it's bizarre. And it is about that not having stress, sorrow, exasperation, which is connected to others, are different. Not having stress. It's truly, you don't realise it, and it's so good for... My mind's in the best nick it's ever been the last year or two. Despite, in theory, according to all the boxes that one gets ticked, being in the ultra precariat cohort. Now, I also like doing that to society, to the stupidity, but one's finger has to be perfectly clean. Well, it doesn't have to be, but if it is, maybe that has more... I'm not going to use the word. Me and my comedy friend, we constantly parody words very rudely. I'm not going to say influence. There we go. I've got to never come back here again, unless I'm coming for a picnic with somebody who would appreciate it. And that'll never happen either. So, because it's too seductive. It's too easy for me to live up here. This is the problem. I've spent days up here in the last year. It's too easy for me.